Hi, Jim Hotailing here with Stef du Plessis. Stef, thanks for joining us today. A lot of times people talk about the subject of employee engagement, and they can confuse that sometimes with culture.
Yes, they do.
And I'm wondering if you could give us your thoughts on culture.
Sure.
And how that really affects the workplace.
Well, seeing as culture is my life's work. I work with a genius in Australia called Steve Simpson, who 20 years ago created a concept called UGRs, unwritten ground rules.
Ha.
Unwritten ground rules are people's perception of this is the way we do things around here. A new employee will go to the new company where they work on day one, they'll go on induction. On induction, they'll learn the policies, rules, and procedures,
Sure.
and the company values.
Right.
And then they'll go on the job. And then they'll attend their first meeting and they get to see who rolls their eyes at whom when who else says something. And then they'll get to see what happens when someone makes a mistake. And then they'll get to see what happens when the boss asks at the end of the meeting, so like, everyone, this was a tough decision, can I count on you? And everyone nods and smiles. And then they walk out the door, which is where the meeting after the meeting starts.
You bet.
And then through the side of their mouth they say, he thinks what? That's workplace culture. It's
Sure.
UGRs, unwritten ground rules. We know that you can measure those unwritten ground rules. We know this because large corporates have rolled this out in countries around the world. And we can measure those unwritten ground rules and identify what they are so that we can help leaders to hold themselves accountable. Because the unwritten ground rules drive the behavior which determines the result, but leaders cause or allow those unwritten ground rules to exist. And if we can help them to understand that, then we can envision what the unwritten ground rules ought to be if we were living our values.
Right.
And then we can embed those behaviors so that a new employee can visually witness, can experience, can be immersed in the type of behaviors that manifest our values. Unwritten ground rules, UGRs.
UGRs. All leaders should be very aware of them.
Absolutely.